Hey, on this week's episode of Clean Living with Sam I Am, with Keith Brock again. Keith, welcome.
Thanks for having me again.
Uh, we're gonna just do a kind of crazy moments with Sam I Am and funny moments, and just also try to give you some tips, answer some questions that we get uh, through uh, requests, like do I need to move furniture, things like that. We're kind of freestyling today, Keith. Um, so let's just start with uh, a funny moment that you've had while carpet cleaning. Do you have one off the top of your head?
Um, I guess the only one I could think of is the time that somebody was talking in the end of the hose and telling the other person to hook it up, and when they hooked it up, about sucked their face off.
So to give us some context, back in the day, we had old Michael Dirty Dog Dunham helping us, and we realized if you're up on a second floor or third floor or wherever you're at, you could talk through the vacuum hose to let somebody know something, kind of like a telephone, because you can't always hear him, especially if it's Jordan. He can't hear if he's down by the van. Um, that you got enough hose or whatever. So uh, the only danger was if that person went to hook the vacuum up to the hose, you could get your face sucked off. And that's exactly what happened. Michael did that to one of our guys. He was talking to him, and then the other person's trying to listen with the hose up by their ear, and then he plugged it in. He said he about got his face ripped off. Um, Another one with an employee who will be nameless. He was pretty well known for like making faces and stuff. Like if he's seen like a really bad spot or something looked rough, uh, he would just kind of make a face. Well, one day we're carpet cleaning, we're doing an extraction, and the apartment was pretty rough. Um, but he looks back at me and he's like, "This," and when he did, his teeth about fell out right over a kitty litter box. Fortunately, he caught it in time. Otherwise, he would have been chewing on some kitty litter. Uh, Things like that. It makes our job a lot more bearable. I mean,
Yeah.
because we can be working in some pretty hot conditions, some pretty filthy conditions. Um,
Well, and the fun that we have with each other too, I
yeah,
think, is a big part of it. And I think that's also goes back to the way we all fit together. It's the way you can just have fun with each other, and nobody takes anything serious. And we just
right.
kind of give it back and forth. I think that matters.
Yeah,
Like with
we all give each other a hard time, and
get some good laughs
yeah,
out of that too.
be able to laugh throughout the day makes it easier
Yeah.
because it can get not monotonous, but it can get overwhelming. Just the physical nature, the elements that we're in.
Well, and being with the same person all day
Yeah,
long. So, I mean, a lot of times that would cause more argument than anything. And really, we all seem to get along. I mean,
yeah,
we've all had those moments, of course, where we've been with each other too long. But yeah, I think for the most part, we can really enjoy each other and have fun.
yeah, and that's what makes the job good when you can laugh and have a good time, and the day goes quick, and uh, you just it makes it it makes it a pretty fun job.
Yep.
Especially everybody just kind of gives each other a hard
Yeah.
time. It's not one person um, getting picked on. I was gonna say, what's some of the craziest stuff you've seen while you're a carpet cleaner?
I think the one that sticks out the most to me is I think I've told everybody this story at least once, but the time that we knocked on a guy's door and he just barely cracks the door like this, and he's like, "Can I help you?" We're like, "Yeah, we're here to clean carpet." And he says, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm schizophrenia and I haven't taken my medicine today." And I'm like, "Okay." I said, are you, are you, do you know we're coming?" He's like, "Yeah, my mom called." okay. So we go in and start cleaning this guy's apartment, and he's just in there just smashing alcohol, just smashing it. I'm
And
like,
this
I'm
is
not sure.
midday, right?
Yeah, this is yeah. I mean, it's probably 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking this probably ain't good for this guy, and he's just talking, and I get to his living room, and all of a sudden I'm just cleaning his living room, and this guy just full off sprints towards me, gets right in my face, and says, "What'd your tattoo say?" And I said, all I can remember is thinking, "What the heck?" And I look back, and Jordan has dropped everything in his hands, and has got full fist up, ready to fight this guy. And I'm just like, and I could feel him breathing. He was so close to me.
Like, I'm just here to clean carpet, man.
I said the carpet got cleaned a lot faster after that.
Right. Yeah. I'd say one of my craziest moments was I was working with Sam, and these people had just moved in, but they didn't move. Some got messed up with the scheduling. They were already in the process of moving in, and so there's people in there, but the apartment's pretty well vacant. They had some stuff in the kitchen, whatever. And these two ladies are in the apartment while we're cleaning, and we're working our way out. We're to the living room, so we're almost done. And one of the ladies was sitting on top of the stove, and when she jumped off, she must have turned the burner on, and there was things sitting on the stove. So when the hot plate got warm, there's fire just erupts. Sam, he just not without even missing a beat, he just walks over, sprays it, and it dies out, and then he sprays it again, and he just walks back and starts cleaning carpet. And I was just like, wow, that's nuts.
I was thinking when you told me this story once before, I was thinking, good thing that our chemicals aren't flammable.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he just kept on cleaning, act like it was nothing, you know. And,
Just add another thing to his resume.
right. It was crazy. But uh that was one of the crazy moments. Didn't you have one other one that you were talking about?
The one with the person we thought was in the attic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and Drake, we went and cleaned this. We went and cleaned this guy's house, and we went in like we do. Drake went out like he does to get the pre-spray ready, and this guy starts talking about this noise in his attic, and he's just like going on about it, and I just like not thinking nothing of it. I go out, Drake goes in, he starts telling Drake about this. I find out about this noise in his attic. Still not really thinking much about it, but we kind of talked about it after we left, like how weird it was. I see this guy later that night at a restaurant, and the first thing he addresses to me is about the noise in his attic and how he referenced to me that it was not a raccoon like he thought, that they weren't sure what the noise was. So then it got really weird. This guy just kept. I'm like, does he have somebody tied up? Should we call the police? I'm like, why does he keep referencing this noise in his act when nobody even said anything about it? And he just kept talking about it.
So what did the noise sound like?
It sounded like somebody struggling.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean it was loud enough to where you could hear it in the ceiling.
But this has been several years and nobody's been found.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then we go back
yeah.
to clean up some stains that had come back, and he talks about it again, like one of the first things that he never did figure out what the noise in his attic was.
Definitely not the person I have tied up
Yeah.
upstairs.
So I'm like, this is the weirdest thing.
Yeah. You never know what you're walking into.
You don't.
I mean,
especially people's houses that you just don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. That's why we like repeat customers. We kind of get to know them and
fill them out a little bit.
Yeah, you know the environment you're going to, whatever it is. At least you already know.
That's what used to, amaze me when I first started here is how we would go do what we call renewals at people's houses or like apartments. And I'm thinking these people just moved in. Same would know them all.
Yeah.
Because that's, he would know exactly who lived there. And now the more I think about it, I'm like that now.
Yeah.
After being here 5 years, it's like, oh yeah, I know this person, or oh man, I know this person.
Right.
It's kind of both ways, but
or even if like when we do the renewals and they're not home, but you know their apartment.
Mhm.
You're like, I remember this one from last year.
Mhm.
Things that stick out to you. Um, one of the trying to think of any other crazy moments. And there's got to be a ton of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably mostly just with the employees
Yeah.
working with each other. I mean, we've seen some crazy um, things outside of the cleaning. I remember you and Drake telling me about the person dancing across the
Mhm.
street.
Stopped right in front of the van. We're just agging it on. Like, yeah. She was having a good day though. You could tell. That was great.
It's good that we get to have this fun
Yeah.
and still work and get our job done and um, just help people
Mhm.
one way or another. Um, I would say probably one of the worst things is when we walk in and there's some kind of feces in the carpet
Or urine
or
smell.
urine. Yeah, those are the hardest. I mean, when you walk in and the smell hits you before anything, it's like I don't know how much good we can do. Um,
And it sucks that when it's like somebody that lives there and you have to tell them that.
yeah,
Because if you don't, then it looks bad on us
you're
if we don't
right.
at least tell them straight up. But that's part of our honesty thing, just you got to be honest, even though it sucks to have to tell somebody, like, I don't know
Yeah,
how well we can do with this, but we'll do all we can 'cause we do all we can.
right. Well, and really with pet urine mainly, or whatever urine. Um, the only way once it gets down into the pad, especially if it's multiple areas, uh, is to get new padding and also to treat the subfloor with like a primer that will kill the odor. We can only get so much, and ours goes down pretty good. We do a good job, and our chemical works really well. But sometimes it may just come down to it the carpet and the pad. The carpet may be able to be saved, but the padding and the subfloor is going to be your issue. Um, being able to get down there and neutralize those odors is tough, and especially if you're putting a lot of moisture down, you got to be able to get most of it back
Yeah.
up, which fortunately we can do with our equipment, but it still could just come back. And that's
Hmm.
one of those things that, we do our best. And, if you want to try multiple treatments, especially if you know it's one area, that makes it easier. But when you can't tell where it is, you don't see a stain, uh, but you smell it, that makes it more difficult.
Yeah, I always remember the one time I went to that property and the guys are in there and one of them has a mask on and he says, "You think you can get the smell out of here?" I said, "I don't know." And he pulls back the carpet and it's just all over the back carpet. I said, "Nope."
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
said, "It's
mean,
just
when it's
not."
the whole floor, that's going to be really
Yeah.
difficult. Um, it's much easier if you can target the stains, and we have some ways to do that. But um, that kind of brings me to some frequently asked questions. That's one of the other things I want to cover on today's episode is what is the difference between hot water extraction and steam clean? Basically, we do both because we use a hot water chemical to treat the carpet, and then we use the steam and the vacuum and the rinse to go back over it. Now, there are like, if you're using a rug doctor, which I wouldn't recommend, um, that's kind of a hot water extraction where you're putting it down and sucking it back up. But those machines tend to not have the same amount of vacuum that we have. Um, so your carpet's going to be damp longer and the stains may not come up. But with our equipment, we do both. We, like I said, pre-treat the stains or the whole room with the hot water pre-spray, and then we go back over and suck it up and sanitize it with the steam cleaning. A question could be, which is better, hot water extraction or steam cleaning, or the encapsulation method. What do you recommend?
Well, I mean, I don't think the encapsulation methods. I mean, it's good, but for certain kinds of
Carpet, yeah.
carpet, like the carpet squares, it works great on. I mean,
Yeah.
we found that out in one of our apartments. But I think what we do is the best. I mean, for one, you're not going to beat the hot water that thing puts out.
Right.
I mean, nothing you get out of your faucet and put in one of those rug doctors is going to beat the water we put down. That's why I always tell people as a joke, it's like you got V8 power sucking this thing up because our vans power it, and you got the hot water that runs through the engine. It's like
Right.
you just can't get much better than that. So I definitely would say, I mean, you just can't beat what we do.
Well, and there's some companies that they either have to hook up to your water to use that water, which is typically a cold water, run it through some kind of heating element, hopefully, and then um, extract it to where we bring the water with us. Now, occasionally we may be running low and have to get a little bit at a place, but that's just to fill up our clean water reservoir. But yeah, like you said, our engine coolant heats our water almost like a still. It has copper coils that heats that water, and it's running at whatever temperature the engine is running at, which is about 210 degrees. And during the summer, I'm pretty sure it's more than that because I can hardly hold it. But
you run over your shoe with that water, you feel it.
Yeah, you just come back and hit your tennis shoe with it. Your feet are on fire. But hot water is definitely the preferred method, especially for us. It's just easier. It's more effective. It's quicker. Um, Encapsulation, depending on the carpet. That's what I was telling. Actually, I was talking to Sam about. It works well for like a industrial carpet because you're not really feeling it. But when you use it on a plush, which you can, it just takes more work because then you have to, once it dries, vacuum it and then vacuum it and then vacuum it. And you're constantly pulling stuff out. But until you get it to where um, all that encapsulations and out of there, that carpet feels kind of crunchy and stiff. So that's why we typically only use it on Berber. Um, and we do occasionally use it on plush carpet. But our preferred method is definitely hot water, even if we have to do the portable at times.
Yeah.
That little portable we have it's amazing how good it works. What's our dry time typically?
6 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll tell people, like, if we hit it, had to go heavy on the chemical stuff, I'll say 6 to 8. But
Yeah.
just to be safe, just to cover ourselves. But typically it's 6 hours, I'd
say. Yeah, and I mean, that's the benefit of our equipment. It works really well. People are surprised sometimes when you tell them that, and it's like, no, we try to suck up everything we put down and just leave it damp, and it shouldn't be soaking wet. It should be just the top of the carpet's a little damp and the rest of it gets pulled out. Will cleaning remove all stains?
No.
And I think we kind of touched on it the last time you and I talked, is if it's been treated before.
Ground into the carpet.
Yeah. And it may not come up. Our best stains are grease, food, things like that, not with red food coloring.
No.
But those tend to come out.
Yeah. Paint, marker.
Yeah. Paint.
I mean, marker, you'll get to bleed out and kind of lighten up, but it's going to be there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Play-Doh. They're we haven't seen them as much, but that slime.
Yeah.
That stuff is the worst.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it just turns into cement. It seems like it just hardens up and gets stuck in every single fiber of the carpet.
Yeah, you really can't do much with it. That's why it's outlawed in my house, even though we don't have that much carpet. Yep. Why do stains come back? So this is one of the things that I always tell people, especially if it's a heavily soiled area. It's like you definitely want to stay off that until it's dry, because what happens is we get it up, but it still could be down in the pad. But when they step on it, it just pulls it
Squishes it.
right back
Yeah.
up. It wicks it back to the top. So if you do have that situation in your home or property, wherever it is, stay off of a heavily soiled area until it's completely dry.
Yeah.
We don't like to walk on the carpet after we've cleaned it because we clean on our way out. Uh, but if there is a reason we have to be on clean carpet that we just did, I try to walk along the edge of the wall where there's hardly any traffic,
Yeah.
because you're not going to get that wicking. Um, so yeah, that's a really important thing, and I try to tell people that when we're cleaning, don't try to stay off those areas.
Yeah, and it's always kind of aggravating when sometimes you get apartment complex that call you back and you see footprints all over the carpet and you think, well, was it still wet when you walked on it?
Right? Yeah, yeah. Like you step all over it,
Yeah.
and that ideally for apartment complexes, we should be the last person in there until the resident
Yeah.
shows up. Maintenance, everybody should be out by the time we clean it. That way you don't run into those issues. And we make the carpet look really nice. We leave pretty patterns in the carpet,
You know
and
it was just
yeah,
cleaned.
yeah, and that's how a resident can tell that it's been done. And not all cleaners do it the same way. Like we have a specific way that Sam taught us. You want it to be about 4 to 5 feet long, and you want your a nice tight pattern. Like I've seen people where their strokes are like this wide, and I'm like, you're going over that like one time. To where if you're doing it smaller, and I always tell the newer guys this, if you're doing a line and then you come back up about half of that line you just did, you're hitting that same piece at least two, if not three times,
Hmm.
um, of vacuum and rinse. So that's why we do what we do, um, and that's how it looks good. I mean,
Well, we've gotten compliments. I mean,
yeah,
I think we even have a review on Google where the lady said how good of a job we did and the beautiful marks that we left behind.
yeah,
So
and
yeah,
if you like vacuum cleaning, carpet clean be up your alley,
yeah.
because it is that immediate gratification most of the time where you can see the fruit of your labor, and you can sit back and be like, wow, that looks good,
Hmm. I love the ones that surprise me that you walk in and you think, man, this is not going to come clean. And you're like, holy cow, it came clean.
Yeah, yeah, that's always rewarding. um, you'll be thinking about that all day, like, I
Hmm.
just can't believe how good that turned out.
It's the one you called the boss about.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta brag on
Yeah.
this one.
Or you wish that you would have took before and after pictures.
Right.
That happens every time. We're always like, man, we should have took before and after
Yeah.
pictures.
Sometimes you're like, I don't know that it's going to turn
Yeah.
out that great, but um, I guess we probably should, just to be safe, because there are certain carpets that will surprise you.
Yeah, we have one apartment complex that with the white carpet that it just, I mean, every time, it's still, even though we know it cleans up well, it
Yeah.
still shocks us sometimes that it cleans up so well as white as that carpet is.
Yeah. It's definitely not my preferred. Oh, I like it. I actually wish more places went with it, because at least that same exact carpet,
Yeah.
because we know it cleans up well, even though it's not a color most places would choose. I think we might have talked about this one before, but how often should carpets be cleaned? What do you tell people?
I say every 6 months, every 4 months.
Yeah,
I think it's say 3 times a year
yeah.
at least. I mean, that's what I tell people, and I feel like it should be.
I tell people, if it's just adults in the home, they're not no pets, no kids, and they do a good job of vacuuming, you're good with once a year. Unless you have allergies, then it would probably be helpful to get more of that dust and all the allergens out of the carpet more often. Um, but if you have pets and kids, I mean, a minimum of 6 months, every six
Yeah.
months, and that just prolongs the life of the carpet and keeps it presentable and clean. How do apartment complexes keep their carpets looking good um, with between turns from resident to resident? One of the things that a lot of places have gotten away from are the renewal carpet cleans. They're trying to save money, and apparently they don't see the benefit of doing it every time a person renews. So, say somebody lives there 2, 3 years, they're not paying to have the carpet clean. It's not their carpet. So the apartment complexes, when they renew, they offer that as a gift, and I think that really makes it easier because when they finally do move out, had they lived there several years, it's been maintained at least once a year.
Yeah.
And it just makes the carpet last longer. Now, sometimes we clean pretty rough ones for a renewal clean, but it's if they do it every year, it tends to clean up decent. It may not be perfect, but you're going to tear less carpet out by offering that renewal clean, especially for the price that we charge a, apartment complexes. I mean, we give
Yeah,
them
might
a
as well
little
take
bit of
advantage of it.
break because we're doing so many of them.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of, I feel like it would show like appreciation
Right.
to the residents as for renewing. Like, here you go, here's a gift
Yeah.
of carpet clean. I think that would be good for them too. But yeah, I mean, it's better than them when they move out and not had a carpet clean, and the only part of the carpet that looks clean is where the couch sat or
Right.
the bed sat.
Right. Yeah, and that's so much harder because then you've got like untouched carpet
Yeah,
compared to heavily trafficked carpet
and then
that
you can never match it.
yeah, it doesn't turn out well. I mean, it does, it cleans up, but it's not going to
Yeah,
look like the part that's been protected
yeah.
for
And
a
you
year or
also
two.
clean up,
Yeah.
so it's like you're cleaning this even cleaner than it already is, but you
Right.
can't get this as clean.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the businesses have to make the decision on whether or not they want to spend that money. But to me, if I was to have somebody live for with me for multiple years, I definitely want to take care of the carpet
Hmm.
because we see it. You can get more than 5 or 7 or out of apartment complex carpet. I mean, if you just take care of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I agree. And I think we can see the difference in the places that do it and don't do it.
right,
I think it's like, we can walk in and say, we can tell this company does renewals because,
yeah.
you know, the carpet looks a lot different in between people living there.
We won't mention any names, but how often do we get told that they've had somebody else out to clean the carpet and they didn't do a very good job? And
Probably more than most people expect. I mean,
yeah,
I think we even recently had one that lady said that she's used that person for many years, and they've switched some stuff up, and we were there a week after they had been there,
mm,
and she was happy with our stuff, and we even get the big names,
yeah,
the big names that do a lot of advertisement and stuff like that that we have been there after, days after I've been told even.
yeah, yeah, and that kind of goes back to the equipment. I mean,
Yeah,
our processes and equipment.
yeah,
We treat the stains and then we make sure we extract the majority of that water, everything we can get out of that carpet, to where if your equipment's not working right or the person operating the equipment's not doing what they need to, um, you're not getting all that water up. So then the chances of wicking is going to be much greater. The dry time's going to be longer. Just multiple things, or they're just not going to try as hard
yeah,
to get stains out because they don't care the way Sam I Am cares. I'm not trying to be uh, arrogant. I just know that that's what we do.
yeah.
you know.
Well, and I always say, I said, there's. I'm not going to say there's not companies out there that's not as good as us, but I can also say that people don't try any harder than we do.
Right.
People may try as hard, but they just don't. They don't try as hard or yet harder than we do.
Right.
Because we don't leave. We hate leaving places that we're not happy with.
Yeah.
I think we touched on that last time. Because we know if we're not happy with somebody else's house, that they're not going to be either. But we can also say that we left and done everything that we possibly could before we left, or whatever it is. And yeah, it's like, you get these things where people say, "Oh, they just left it sopping wet after they left," and this and that. It's like, how can you leave somebody like that? That's my thing. Is I just can't. My conscience doesn't allow me to just leave somebody in a mess like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's to take more than 24 hours to dry, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Or people have to say, "Oh, we had to put fans on it."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can put fans on what we do too to help it dry faster.
Right.
But to say that you've had to run fans on it for 3 days just to get it to dry, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's way too wet.
Yeah. And you'll never, you just won't ever get that with us.
And not to say, like, on a vacant, say somebody moves out of a apartment, that we don't put down a ton of water to try to get some of these apartments clean, or even homes, but we also take the time to extract it. That's the difference.
Slow down over it or go over it multiple times. When that's the thing about how we do our thing is, when the person's pre-spraying, you're watching them and you know what spots are hitting harder. That way, and plus when you're cleaning, when there's more water than usual to go over it. So it's just paying attention
and we communicate too. Even if he may have watched us do it, we remind each other, "Hey, I hit that area pretty hard, so take it easy."
Heavily soiled there, or whatever it was. Yeah.
But that's all goes into, like, walking the rooms before you start. That goes, it goes to us working together for a long time, us caring. All those things make a difference. And I said it the last time you and I were on here. It's the Sam I Am difference. It's, we care about your carpet as much as you do, and we take pride in what we do. And if somebody didn't, they probably wouldn't stick around long, because they get tired of hearing one of us be like, "Hey, you need to do this right, or you need to do that right."
And I think that's what the difference is from the beginning of somebody coming to work with us. They know from the beginning that this is how serious we take it.
Right.
And they're like, "All right, I better get on board, because these guys." And it is, and we can't let nobody diminish that from us. Nobody can take that away from us. We've got to be. This is how we do it, and even if it's you've been here for years, and you have to be told it is what it is. And that's happened with me, that I've slipped up and done something, and but I've been and that's just, like you said, it's the Sam I Am way, and it's what's worked from the beginning. So why would we change it?
Right. Well, and we're not willing to sacrifice quality for anything. That's one of my things is we're growing. Just this last 2-3 weeks, we picked up some new properties, and possibly even some for Purdue turns, which is our crazy time. I want to grow, but I don't want to sacrifice the quality. I would stay small before I just blew up and didn't do a good job.
Well, and that's why we, anytime it's time to start to hire somebody, it's not just something we just say, "Okay, we're going to hire this person."
Right.
It's, "Hey, let's pray about it.
Yeah.
This name comes up. Let's pray about it again.
Yeah.
Let's talk to that person. Let's pray about it again."
Yeah.
Because it's not just our decision to make; it's God's decision,
right,
to lead us in that direction as well. So.
Well, and that's why I think one of the reasons we have pretty good success with the people we have, it's typically somebody who knows somebody refers, "Hey, maybe this person would be good," or Doug was a great example.
Ended up being one of the best guys we've ever had.
Yeah.
Seriously, that kid just came in and just,
Yeah.
he fit right in with us older guys, and
Yeah.
and he was great. I wish we could have him back.
I'm kind of disappointed.
I am too.
He's not planning on coming back this summer, but that's good for him. That he's he's making his own way these days, and we wish him the best. But
Our selfish selves would love to have him back,
right?
Because he was great.
But yeah, that came as a referral from somebody else. Hey, my nephew's needing some work, and he's a good worker,
and we'd be lying if we didn't say at first we're like, okay, he's young, how's
yeah,
this going to work out?
yeah,
And then it just kind of was like, boom, he fit right in, and he worked hard and never complained. I mean,
yeah,
just fit
yeah.
right in.
So yeah, we'll definitely need somebody like Doug for this summer for sure. One of the biggest things is, and I talked about it, the dust and everything in your carpet. Um, some ways to keep the dust down: make sure your furnace filter's changed. Um, you don't want all that dust blowing through your house when your heater kicks on.
Clean
But
your ceiling fans.
yeah, clean your ceiling fans. And all that ends up in the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not stuck to your ceiling fan blades. But even then, when you turn it on and it starts to shake off, it comes down to the floor. So if you got allergies, that's a pretty big thing. And we can we've got some chemicals for allergy. Haven't used it in a while. Haven't had anybody complaining about being an allergy sufferer. Uh, we have chemicals that aren't harsh, even though our favorite one, it has a really good odor. It only sticks around for a few hours,
Yeah.
and uh, so it's not overbearing. Or so going back to dry time, you had mentioned fans. What are the things that'll help your carpet dry quicker?
Well, having your air on, just air moving, period,
Yeah,
is in the household, whatever. We always tell people in the summertime, like, keep your air on, and just let the air movement go through. I mean, it does help.
one of the things that I plan on having Jim Scott from Jim's Heating and Cooling on, and he kind of speak more to it. But whether it's a water extraction or a carpet clean, I try to tell people your AC is basically like a big humidifier. It'll pull that humidity out of the room and out of the carpet. But yeah, airflow. Have ceiling fans on. Um, have your air, whether it's heat in the winter or AC in the summer. Um, and that just helps it dry so much quicker. I mean, you turn ceiling fan on and have your air circulate, and it's going to dry in no time. So that's one of the things that people can do to help in their drying. One other question is moving furniture. What do I need to move? Do you move furniture? Um, do I have to move my furniture?
I always tell people, you move what you want to move, will go around and under anything else. I mean, and that's just how it is. And people say, do I have to move furniture? Or do you move? I say, you can move it. I'm not moving it.
Yeah, right.
And there's some circumstances where we will help you move something. I mean, we try not to have to, but we see somebody trying to move something and they're
Right.
by themselves. I mean, we're not just going to sit there and watch you struggle, but no, we do not move furniture willingly if we don't have to. And that's not because we don't want to. It's just really we can't.
Right. It's a liability issue.
Yeah.
I always tell people I can't be breaking your stuff, and I can't have myself or my guys get injured while moving your stuff and end up everything goes up because of insurance going up. So,
And we get that a lot with renewals when the people aren't home. And we go in and we clean the open areas, and they're like, "Well, they didn't move my couch. They didn't move this. They didn't pick up my clothes off my bedroom floor for me." It's like, no, we're not.
Those are your personal belongings.
Yeah. I mean, if you got clothes all over your bedroom floor, I'm most likely just not going to clean it at all.
Right.
Because I'm not going. I also want to take the chance of sucking up a piece of your shirt or something, either, like because you get too close to. Because that does happen. I've done it with blinds before. So
yeah, the drapes and stuff.
yeah. So yeah, we don't want to mess up your personal stuff.
So one of the thoughts I just had, what was it? Oh, I know you have one more funny story about Sam.
Do I?
Yeah, renewal clean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the time that we were let in by a maintenance guy because nobody was answering the door, so we assumed nobody's home. So as we always do when we're going into an empty apartment, even if we assume nobody's home, we still holler out maintenance or carpet cleaners, and Sam's going through, and we usually don't open closed doors, and this door was opened enough to where it could be opened. So Sam hollering out carpet cleaners, carpet cleaners, and this lady wakes up out of this pitch black room. You could never knew there was somebody in there, and starts freaking out. And the look on Sam's face, me and the maintenance guy both are in the hallway laughing so hard, and he's just not understanding why we're laughing so hard because it freaked him out. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the look on Sam's face. It was so funny, and she's just yelling, "Ah!"
And Sam's not a quiet person.
Mm-mm.
Anybody that knows Sam knows he is not a quiet person.
Especially when he's hollering.
Right.
I mean, it's just
like the neighbors heard him coming. Yeah.
Hey,
So
that one was good.
she must have been a pretty heavy sleep.
Yeah, I forgot all about that one. That was funny.
There's been some crazy times. That's in light of the recent thing that happened down there. Where was that?
Yeah.
Around Indy.
Like Fishers, I think.
Yeah. The cleaning people
Yeah.
showed up to the wrong place and ended up getting shot. That's something I always worry about when we go into a occupied
Well,
renewal.
especially some of the properties that we have. I mean, some of them they're pretty hairy. I mean, there's some that we've talked about going to do extractions at night.
Yeah.
It's pretty worrisome.
And I think about that. Now, I mean, in the evening after dark, we go to the best of properties and the worst of properties. But I can honestly say, out of all the stuff that I've dealt with, thank God, I've never had any issues. And maybe it's him keeping us safe or what, but and I hear people complain about Lafayette. We spend all day over there, Monday through Friday, and I don't see anything with the people. I mean, the people are good people. And
well, I think it's because it goes back to the way that we treat people.
Yeah.
I think people know us, have seen us around. They know that we're respectful people. We're not treating people in any way. Because the only times I've been to places and people be mad, they ain't mad at us.
Right.
They're mad at usually the maintenance guys or the property, whatever it is. It's never towards us. So, and that's, I think that just goes back to the way you treat people is how you get treated. I mean,
yeah. I'm thankful that we're always safe, and there are times I'm like, I'm going here to do this, late at night, and nothing usually good happens after dark, unless it's most people that late at night don't have great intentions, but I've not had any issues, and I go do the job and I get back home, and thankful that I made it home safe. And
once you're back in the van heading out, that's when you know you're safe.
But we live in a crazy world these days, and I think social media, news, you hear all the bad stuff. But I mean, I go around, I see a lot of good people out there, and that's it's not always what you see on TV or on your social media feed. There's everyday people just like us, just trying to get by and do what they got to do. So.
And what happened there in Fishers? I mean, that kind of a freak accident.
Yeah.
I mean, but once again, you don't know what was going through the guy's head on the other side of the door with the crazy world that we live in.
Right.
Anybody could have been trying to come through that door. He didn't know.
Well, and
that's what sucks about that part.
We get addresses from somebody, and sometimes they mistype, and we're at the address they told us, but
trying
it's
to go
the
in
wrong
these people's
one.
Place.
Yeah. Or you're thinking it's a D and it's actually C, and you go walking in and it's somebody's house. It's like, holy cow!
And unluckily, the door happens to be unlocked. Of course.
Yeah, it's like, oh no.
Luckily, a lot of times we watch the signs. Okay, there's a mat here.
Right.
This is supposed to be empty. There's something hanging on the door.
Right.
Something's not right here. But there is sometimes it looks like it could be empty.
Yeah,
I mean, we've all done it.
Some people leave and don't take any of their stuff that's outside the apartment, or they just live there and they don't have things outside their apartment. So,
Well, and like another story with the renewals. I mean, that time me and Jordan went in that one, nobody answered the door. Maintenance guy let us in. I start yelling carpet cleaner. Lady says, "I've got no clothes on. Don't come back here." I'm like, "Don't worry,
We'll wait outside.
I'm done. I'm leaving."
Talking about crazy stories. This was pretty early on when I first started helping Sam. We were doing a renewal, and um, I don't know, little 2-bedroom apartment, not much room in there. We did it, and this place always sent somebody with us to be there, and so we had an employee of the company with us, and then Sam and I, and we cleaned, left, never thought anything about it. Well, then the resident tried saying that Sam or I stole a baby bottle full of coins, and it's like he's like, "Why would I give up thousands of dollars for $100? That
And
would
if
make
all the
no
people
sense."
you could blame you or Sam,
Yeah,
taking something.
like so, not, they knew the maintenance people. Fortunately, they're like, "Yeah, we don't believe that, but we need you to write a statement of what happened." I'm like, "This is the craziest thing. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
would we? I'm making money right now. I don't need to."
And lose the contract with the
Yeah,
apartment
yeah.
complex. It's like,
I was like, "Well, I'm glad you had somebody with us that is another witness."
yeah,
It's crazy what people will do, and
that's crazy. It's like,
yeah,
but I mean, that's just how we are. Once again, the same I am way. We're
yeah,
trustworthy people,
yeah, and
and most of our apartment complexes know what kind of people we are and know
yeah,
that if somebody's going to blame us for something like that, they're most likely making it
right,
up.
right, yeah, and and that's why we gotta always maintain that
Mm-hmm.
integrity. We gotta have people with integrity, and just know the people you're working with. I
And
mean,
just
if
live the Jesus way.
we seen any dishonesty in somebody, we'd struggle to have that person working
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely. Especially if it happened multiple
Yeah,
times. I
it'd be like we gotta have a come to Jesus
mean,
moment.
mm-hmm.
That it's either you do the right things or you don't, and if you don't, then you can't work with us. Fortunately, we haven't had that,
No,
but I think that goes back to knowing people that know people, and I just we are probably a little different, and I'm okay with that.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm like this is our reputation. Not only Sam I am, it's my personal reputation
Yeah.
or Keith's personal reputation that's involved, and Jordan's and anybody that works with us. You gotta have that character, and so yeah,
Yeah, there's some things that we just don't let go, and that's one of them.
yeah, yeah. You got to be and you got to have integrity. Well, Keith, we've talked for quite a bit, a little bit longer than what I probably figured we would. But this is just fun. I
Yeah,
like talking about the work that we do
yeah.
and the people we do it with.
It
And
shows how much we care about our
yeah,
job. I mean, we could sit here and just have conversations about it, knowing we live it every day.
right.
We care. I mean,
Yeah, and we just want people to know about us and how
yeah,
we do things, and hopefully pick some things up about what to be prepared for when we come to clean, or how to treat a stain before we get there, whatever it is. Hopefully people will find some value out of these things, and if nothing else, we get to reminisce about fun
yeah.
times carpet cleaning. But thanks for joining us. I'm gonna have a link in or a discount code in the bottom of the show notes that will save 10%. And please send us questions, uh, any of your comments, anything. I mean, this is only going to be as good as um, the audience helps us make it. If
Absolutely.
so, if we can get some participation in that, it would be greatly appreciated. If you're a customer and you'd like to share your story, I'd be more than happy to have you on. Just email us, Facebook Messenger, and or a property manager even. I'd be willing to have them on, and just talk about the relationship. So it's not just us testifying to how we do things. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns, we'll read them on future episodes or answer them. Uh,
That'll be a good episode.
yeah, yeah. So we not quite sure who the following week's going to be yet. Got some people I need to reach out to and set that up. But Keith, I appreciate it. Appreciate your work and your time today. And let's go clean some carpets.
Let's go.
All right.